So.
They didn't even think about that. I don't think about these things, Vikram. I just talk to people like you for this stuff. Yeah. And Vikram, what's your role in?
I'm the Vice President of Public Policy.
Okay, got it. All right, Jed. All right, Facebook, we're live here with Vikram Meyer from Postmates.
That's right, man. Good to see you.
Vikram, how are you doing today?
Not too shabby, man. This is a hell of a summit. Hell of a summit.
Well, you're with Postmates, so I hope you can deliver on this conversation.
That's
what
good.
brought you to Concordia?
That's good. Postmates is it is a delivery business. I think a lot of people sometimes think of it as lazy Sunday, hungover, need a burrito delivery cure type company.
That's what I use it for.
Excellent. Great use case. But it's also for a senior citizen who has mobility issues,
Absolutely.
who may need medicine or health and wellness products delivered. It's also for local businesses on Main Street who are struggling to compete in the digital economy, looking for ways to sell to customers through digital tools and a digital network. So I guess this is a time in which we're talking a lot about tech as a way to maybe solve problems, but maybe also create some new ones. So I think it's important for Postmates to be here at Concordia as a gathering of other technology enterprises, business enterprises, and government stakeholders. We're all starting to see what the future of commerce and the future of cities and the way goods move is all changing. So the chance to be a part of that is very exciting.
Yeah, well, it is changing. I mean, drastically. You have a company like Postmates coming in. And I think kind of what you were just telling me was, you have the mom and pop shops in the corner who are getting out of business because the Walmarts of the world, the Amazons of the world, just making things so accessible for those big companies. Well, how about the mom and pop shops who have been there for 50, 60 years?
Yeah.
What about them? And I feel like, is Postmates a solution for a company like this? And what are you seeing in your industry?
It's a great point. I think Postmates is absolutely an incredible tool for local retailers in the digital economy. If you take a look at the White House, January of this year, right after Christmas, right after the holiday season, it showcased new jobs reports numbers about the health of the economy. Retail was the only sector in that jobs report that was down, even after the holiday sales. That's a big, big concern of global headwind proportion to any retailer, whether you're a big mall or you're a small mom and pop shop, as you mentioned. And I think that companies like Amazon and Walmart, they are fantastically convenient and we'll all continue to use them. But when you build a distribution center or a warehouse on the outskirts of cities and then funnel goods into town, you shortchange the willingness you or I might have to purchase light bulbs from a local hardware store or get groceries from a local bodega or corner store. So what Postmates does is the exact inverse of those models. We treat the entire city as a warehouse. We index the product offerings of what's being sold. So if Google Maps will tell you where things are, we're telling you what's sold within those stores. And then we give local businesses the tools they need to distribute their goods as if they had a warehouse-like operation. So that's a matching algorithm that our incredible engineering team puts together. It's a mapping algorithm that our incredible product team puts together. And it's this network of about 170 to 200,000 Postmates, the company is named after them, or independent contractors that make these deliveries in real time. And in 2017, we actually saw that retailers across the country that use this on-demand technology were actually able to grow 3.7 to 4 times faster than retailers that didn't use this technology.
Interesting. Now, you definitely just touched on it, but let's take it down to layman's terms. For somebody, I use Postmates, but for somebody out there who hasn't used Postmates, how does that inverse process work? What does that look like? If I'm a senior citizen and, help me, I fell down, I need a Band-Aid from the store. How do I use Postmates?
So Postmates is an app-based technology. You can also use a web browser, but biggest use case is through a phone or app. And you open up the app. Sorry about that. You open up the app, and you end up selecting a local burrito store that you want something delivered from, or a local Starbucks that you want something delivered from. And so you actually select that product. You type it in, select it, and then you enter the address where you want it delivered, whether it's your office, or whether it's your home, or whether it's your parents' home. And then within about 25 to 45 minutes, a courier brings it to your doorstep. The way in which a Lyft ride or an Uber ride can be called on demand is the exact same method to which there's this active network of couriers, of Postmates, that are always online, ready to make that delivery in a moment's notice. And each of those Postmates are actually earning while they make that delivery. So last year, Postmates earned about $220 million off the platform. That's about $18.34 an hour.
Right.
So certainly not the most glamorous wage in the world, but definitely better than minimum wage. And I think that's a big reason we're excited to be here at Concordia, because when people talk about participants in this on-demand economy or gig economy, like working for Postmates or working for Uber or working with Lyft, you start to question, what does the future of our workforce look like if you have so many of these independent, flexible workers?
Right.
And
how are they getting health care?
Absolutely.
Right?
How are they
benefits?
How are you getting access to benefits?
Right.
What does economic certainty look like? And I think that is not only an exciting reason to be here to talk about those issues today and see how other governments are approaching it, but for Postmates, we're incredibly lucky to have an awesome CEO who has been actively taking a look at how do we connect our workforce to ladders to additional economic opportunity if they want to advance their career. So we just matriculated our first class 2 weeks ago of Postmates through a program called JBS, in which they can now get career development skills for marketing, coding, designing.
Interesting.
It also means that we should be experimenting with how you get access to those benefits. So we've been in conversations with governments, state of California, state of Washington, state of New York, about can we decouple this notion that full-time employment is the only way in which you get full-time health care. It's kind of silly to think that you can't get a way to cover your family's needs or your benefits needs if and only if you're working for one employer. We know with millennial trend lines that people are changing jobs very quickly, so taking these steps to fill those blanks on education, on benefits, all of this is an attempt to create some more economic certainty and upward mobility, and Postmates is really proud to be part of those experiments and guiding those policy conversations.
Wow, very well said. And for somebody who has a friend that does Postmates, what is that process like in terms of becoming a driver, as well as what percentage of the people are working two jobs versus one? Because I know a lot of people that at least drive the Uber cars, which you're saying it's a very similar role, they have other jobs, but they just switch it on because it's a great way to put food on the table.
Sure.
What is there a demographic of people that are, like you said, just more self-employed versus already having a job?
Yeah, it's interesting. When we take a look at Postmates as an ecosystem, a significant percentage of our users are actually women on the platform. A significant percentage of our Postmates, those making the deliveries, are about 18 to 34, tend to be younger individuals that may be in college, that are maybe earning in between jobs. We also have a significant percentage who we know are all looking for full-time work and are using this truly as a supplemental way to augment their income. Right. And a fascinating thing that we just rolled out last week as a company is now when we talk about someone signing up for the platform, they go through a pretty standard background check to make sure that there's trust and safety and community standards in the process. There is an example of a gentleman who signed up in Los Angeles, one of our biggest markets, if not the biggest market of all on-demand delivery in LA, and signed up 3 hours later, did about 3 deliveries, and got the entirety of that sum of his earnings deposited into his bank that same day. So I think that this is like a way that people can actually continue to be on the bridge and the path towards whatever it is that they're trying to do in life, but also use this as a pretty strong tool to continue to invest in those passions and dreams.
Well, Mr. Meyer, I'm glad we got you on board. I'm glad we're having these conversations with these thought leaders, all these magnificent minds that are here at Concordia, and I think it's going to be very beneficial to the world. So I appreciate your time, and
thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on Facebook Live with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really interesting stuff, because I tell you what, I have so many friends that are